You know the type. A person walks into a room and you can just feel it. Before they even say a word, it's a certain kind of strength. It doesn't yell, it doesn't threaten, it has nothing to prove to anyone. Today, we're not just going to talk about that strength, we're going to crack its code. So, let's start by shattering the loudest myth right off the bat. Yelling is not a display of power. It's actually a confession that you've lost control. Real strength, it never has to raise its voice.
And it definitely doesn't threaten. Threats are the currency of the insecure. They're what people use to create fear when they can't command genuine respect. A truly strong person's presence, well, that's the only warning they'll ever need.
And here's the real heart of it. True strength has absolutely nothing to prove to anybody. It's not some performance you put on for others, it's an internal state of being. It's rooted in knowing who you are. It doesn't need applause, it doesn't need validation. It just is.
Now, get this, because it's a bit of a shocker. An estimated 90% of people get this idea of strength completely wrong. They think aggression is assertiveness, or a loud voice means authority, or that being rude is somehow being honest.
So let's just be crystal clear. Real strength isn't about the size of your muscles, it's about the structure of your mind. It's all psychology, and like any system, it has a code. If you stick with me, I'm going to give you that full code.
Okay, first things first, we gotta clear the slate. Before we can build real strength, we have to completely demolish the fake version that society has been selling us. Let's start by just destroying these common myths. So, this idea that strength is the absence of fear, that's a cartoon character, not a real person. Real strength is feeling that fear, looking it in the eye, and moving forward anyway. We have a word for that, it's courage. And strength is not about winning every single argument. No way! It's about choosing your battles. A strong person knows their energy is way too expensive to waste on 99% of the nonsense out there.
The psychological foundation for all of this stuff, it has a kind of fancy name, internal locus of control. But all it really means is answering one simple question. Who's in charge of your life? If you blame fate, luck, other people, that's an external locus. An internal locus means you stop being a passenger. You grab the steering wheel of your own life.
And this just brilliantly illustrates that shift in mindset. A weak person says, he made me angry, literally giving their power away. The strong person says, I chose to get angry, taking total ownership of their own emotional response. You see the difference? It's huge. One is owned by their feelings. The other owns themselves. Okay, so now that we've cleared away all that mythical junk, let's get constructive. We're going to build the real thing, right from the ground up. And real, unshakable strength, it rests on 3 core pillars.
These pillars are boundaries, principles, and calm, and they all work together. If you can master these 3, you're basically building a psychological fortress. So let's break down each one.
First up, the pillar of boundaries. I want you to imagine a psychological fence around your time, your energy, your well-being. A strong person has this fence, and they guard it fiercely. They say no, cleanly, without a long list of excuses, without feeling the need to justify it, and without apologizing 10 times. They just say no. And then they go silent.
This is so crucial it really needs its own slide. No. That's it. It's a complete sentence. It doesn't require a follow-up. And here's the secret. Anyone who gets mad at you for setting a boundary, they were just planning to take advantage of you anyway. Their anger is actually a gift. It reveals their true intentions.
All right, let's move to the second pillar, which builds right on top of the first one, principles. Think of these as your non-negotiables. They are the red lines you will not cross for more money, for promotion, or to avoid being alone. This is your core. Because if you sell out your principles even once, you've sold yourself cheap. And every time after that, it just gets cheaper.
And finally, the third pillar, and honestly, it's your most dangerous weapon. Calm. It's the ability to regulate your own emotions when you're under pressure. Psychology calls it emotional regulation. When someone is screaming at you and your calmness screams right back at them, they lose all their power. They've shown their whole hand, you haven't even started playing.
So how do you actually do this? How do you practice it? It's simple. Use the 3-second rule. Before you respond to any provocation, just stop. Take 1 deep breath. Count backward in your head, 3, 2, 1. In those few seconds, your rational human brain takes back control from your primitive reptile brain. Remember this, whoever controls your reaction controls you. Don't just hand them the remote.
So, if this code is so effective, you might be asking, why isn't everyone using it? Why do so many people seem to struggle with this? Well, to truly master strength, we also have to understand weakness. Let's analyze the common traps that keep so many people stuck.
There are really three main culprits here. First, a people-pleasing upbringing. I mean, so many of us were raised on what will people say, and now we live in a prison built by other people's opinions. Second, an addiction to instant comfort. Agreeing to something you hate just to avoid a difficult conversation. And third, a deep, deep fear of being alone. But the truth is, when you set boundaries, you only lose the people who were meant to leave anyway.
But listen up, because this might be the most empowering thing you hear today. Weakness is not in your DNA. It is not a fixed trait. Weakness is simply a set of habits. And the beautiful, powerful thing about habits is that they can be broken and they can be replaced.
So how do we do it? How do we break those old habits and build these powerful new ones? Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. Here is your 4-step action plan to start building real strength, starting today.
Think of this as your daily workout. Number 1, the strength journal. Every night, write down one time you held a boundary or acted on a principle. Your brain needs to see proof that you're changing. 2, the silence protocol. In a heated conversation, your first response is 5 full seconds of silence. It gives you control and makes the other person confront their own words. 3, the mirror drill. Every morning, look yourself right in the eye and say, "I respect myself." No joking around. You are programming your subconscious. And number 4, the 1% rule. Don't try to become a beast overnight. Just aim to be 1% stronger each day. Small, consistent efforts, they lead to massive change over time.
Okay, let's bring it all together. This isn't just a collection of tips and tricks. This is a whole new operating system for yourself. This is the true strength code. You have to remember, a strong personality isn't born. It's built, brick by brick, moment by moment.
And this, right here, is the philosophy at its core. You can be kind, you can be generous, you can be a genuinely good person. But kindness without boundaries, that's just a welcome mat for disrespect. See, the world doesn't just respect a nice guy. The world respects a nice guy with fangs.
So what's the final takeaway? Be kind, always. But never ever let anyone mistake your kindness for weakness. Make your fangs visible, not to bite, but to show that you are not to be trifled with. Start today with the smallest no you can manage. And that, my friends, is the strength code.